Hi, it's Devon Naika from Retirement Wellness SA. I specialize in helping government employees make one of their most important financial decisions, and that is whether you should retire or resign from the GEPF. Now, if you're at that position in your life where you're having to make this critical choice, one of the questions that you're going to ask yourself is, how do you know that you're getting the right financial advice? Financial advice is not something like most other products. So for example, if you are purchasing a motor vehicle, you get to see the car, you get to test drive the car, you get to feel the car, you get to experience the vehicle, you know what you're buying. And if there is, let's assume on the day that you are picking up your vehicle, if there's a crack in the windscreen, are you likely to purchase that vehicle? No. You're definitely going to ensure that the dealership is going to rectify it, make sure that it's fixed, so that when you're driving out of the showroom, you're driving out with a vehicle that is brand new and exactly how you want it to be. The challenge when we come to financial planning is we don't get to see this. So you don't get to see financial advice. And usually we only get to see the effects or the impacts of financial advice much later on. Let's use an example. You only get to see if the investment is performing well or not after you've invested your money. At which point, if you've lost some money, you might be feeling that it was a gamble or it's too late. You only get to see the benefits of taxes after you've paid the taxes. You only get to see the tax planning value after you've paid it. And you only get to see the quality or the experience or, again, the quality of advice that you're being provided from the advisor after a lot of these things have taken place. But what if you have a lot more power, a lot more control over the experience and what you think right now? Well, that's what I want to show you today. I want to show you how you can take control of the situation and how you can sort of test the quality of the advice that you are being given even before you sign anything. Now, remember what I mentioned, even before you sign anything. So let's head over to the iPad and I can guide you better there. Now, what I want you to start to pay attention to is just understanding the picture as a whole. So let's assume that in the middle here, we have you. And there's quite a lot of elements to yourself. One element which we know right now is the money that's sitting here, which is inside of GEPF. Now, one of the tendencies that I've noticed for members who reach out to me for assistance is after having met with financial advisors, what you don't want to do is have someone who's giving you advice exclusively on the money from GEPF. Because usually your solution, your end goal, that end goal is not going to come from GEPF. So if you remember what I have been guiding you along the way on the journey so far, your focus right now is not so much on whether you should retire or resign. The focus is on achieving an end outcome, which I've been calling out to each of you, saying it's financial confidence. And what is financial confidence? That is that ability to enjoy life without the fear of running out of money. So your ability to enjoy your life without fear that you're going to run out of money, that is what financial confidence is. Now, that is a pathway, it's a journey. So we are going to assume that you are here right now, and we want to make our way up to that point of financial confidence, you see? So we want to find out what's the right steps that we need to take so that our end outcome is there. Now, that goal can't be achieved if we focus exclusively on money that you have just with GEPF, because that's not looking at you as an individual. There might be other elements to you. There's definitely other elements to you. So we need to consider your family. Are there people that you love and care for, and you want to make sure that at some point in time that you are not around, they are well cared for? Or even whilst you're around, that you are able to do things with them, to have fun, to travel together, to just enjoy life together. So your family becomes an important factor to consider when we're doing this. In addition to that, chances are you are going to need some assistance with your budget. And why this is critical is a lot of expenses that you had in the build-up, so leading up to your retirement or resignation, whichever route you choose, a lot of expenses that you had in that build-up might not be needed when you stop working. So perhaps there's aspects that you needed when you were working, but now that you stop working, you might decide, hey, I don't need that benefit anymore. In which case, a lot of budget planning must be done. Because when we do that, when you cut out your unnecessary expenses, it ultimately means that you have more money to spend on yourself. So again, when financial planning is getting done, you want to pay attention to this. You want to make sure that your advisor is paying attention to your budget and not just the amount of money that's being released from GEPF. And then, of course, either route that you take, you're going to do some kind of investing. Whether you retire or resign, you're gonna do some kind of investing. And that investment doesn't necessarily have to be with an insurance company, because you could house money inside a bank. But what you want to do here is understand what your goal for investing is. So remember, our goal is financial confidence. But you could have a sub-goal here for investing. Maybe you are investing for, a grandchild's tertiary studies. So that's a different focus. You could be investing for, a trip. Whatever it is that your goal is, you could be investing maybe because you want to create a legacy. So whatever your purpose for investing, you want to identify what that purpose is and make sure that the advice that you are getting is in line with what the goal of investing is and is in line with your goal of achieving financial confidence. Again, from a financial advice perspective, it doesn't mean that the investment has to go to an insurance company in order for this to be beneficial for a financial advisor. The arrangement that you want to make here with the financial advisor is one based on financial confidence. What that means is, I'll use myself as an example. I'm a big fan of having of a retiree or someone who resigns to have access to money in a bank account. Now, in that particular investment, there's no gain to me because the money is actually invested inside a bank account. But I know if there's no capital inside a bank account, we lose something important, which is an emergency fund. So if I don't make sure that you have an emergency fund, then it means that at some point in time that an emergency comes up, and we can't ignore that because life happens and emergencies can come up at any time. At that point in time, when that emergency comes up, suddenly you're having to withdraw from an investment. And if we had this money invested into the markets and the markets are not performing well, you suddenly are selling out shares not at the right time. So by creating an emergency fund, I'm allowing you that breathing space. We're allowing whatever investments you have to grow without this fear of need of access to cash. See? So this is why we want to make sure that you've got money that sits in the bank. And then I want to take it a step further. So this is going to be particularly interesting because we don't want to stop there. We also want to do what I call estate planning. Or more specifically, if we look at the end goal behind estate planning is the legacy. So perhaps you're at that stage right now where you've accumulated a lot of wealth. And that could be in the form of assets that you've accumulated or even in terms of money that you've accumulated. And now you want to make sure that your kids, your grandkids are in a better position than where you were when you had left home. So a better position than what your parents had left you. Now, if that's the case, then we want to do some legacy planning. So we want to make sure that whatever we've taken care of in terms of your estate can pass along to your kids, to your grandkids, without you having to pay too much of tax. And that's what this estate planning is all about. Included in the estate planning, you also want to get done, or you also want to make sure that you're having a review of your will. So I'll put that in here. So we want to make sure that we are reviewing the will that you have in place. Again, perhaps you do have a will in place, but now that you're going through a transition in your life, you definitely want to revisit that to see what you had set out before. Is it still something that you want to do going forward? Now, there's quite a number of elements that must be paid attention to here. And as you can see, GEPF is just one element in a big picture. The next thing I want to share with you is you also want to establish a relationship with the person that's giving you financial advice. Because every year in your retirement or your resignation is not going to be the same. And when things change, you need to ensure that you have someone that you can call upon who's going to help you navigate along this path. Again, it also means that the planning that must happen for you must be flexible to accommodate for those changes. Now, I hope you found this video extremely insightful and it's giving you some sort of idea as to how you can go about getting good quality financial advice. Again, if financial planning is done well, it must pay for itself. I'll say that again. If financial planning is done well, it must pay for itself, meaning that usually through the tax savings, through growing of wealth, through all the benefits that a financial planner offers to you as an individual, it should cover their costs and more. And I've seen that time and time again with the clients that I've assisted. If you found this video helpful, please click on the like sign. I'd love to hear your comments. Let me know how this video is helping shape your future, whether it's your retirement or resignation. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you're able to get new content as soon as we load them. And I'm looking forward to hearing your success. Thank you.